If you guys are afraid that you're not going to be successful, if you're afraid that you don't have what it takes, please know this. You don't have to have the whole package. You have to be really damn good at a couple of things. The things that you might even discount because they're already in your comfort zone. You don't realize how important they are because they come naturally to you. You have to be really good at those things, understand what they are, lean into them, and mitigate the rest by having somebody else do the parts that you're not good at. And we're back
with another episode of He Said, She Said.
Okay, so check this out. I was talking to the editor-in-chief of Entrepreneur Magazine, like the entire entrepreneur brand, Entrepreneur Online, Entrepreneur Magazine, the entire publication.
Is this for your podcast?
It's for my podcast. There's an episode coming out this week. Actually, same week. So that episode, he and I just we went down the rabbit hole on change and upcoming changes and what makes people successful when it comes to change. And, why is it some people battle through and some people don't? Anyhow, go listen to the episode and you can learn all about how to not be afraid of change. But what it made me want to do was talk about why you and I think that we've had a lot of success so that those listening can start to recognize traits in themselves that can make them successful as well. Because here's the thing. He and I were talking a lot offline. And when I was asking him about, he knows everyone. He knows The Rock. He knows Oprah. He knows everybody because of his position at the magazine. And when I asked him, hey, what makes people successful? And by the way, this wasn't on the episode. It was just in small talk. What do you see that makes all these people mega successful? He said, there's not one common trait. He said, sure, I could say simple things like perseverance and whatnot. But he said, there's not one trait. The Rock has different traits that make him successful than what Oprah does. Oprah has different traits than what Elon does. Elon has different traits than what Jeff Bezos does that make them successful. And he then went on to say, he's like, one of the questions that I actually don't enjoy answering is, and it's the question he gets asked the most, is, hey, what's the common thread that makes everyone successful? He said, because each of these people are so different. And the key is when people learn what they're good at and play to their strengths and lean into that and then mitigate what they're not good at. That's when they succeed. Heck, I just did this. So I just hung up, Lori, with my app team for the peer-to-peer lending app that we're building. And we got into this big marketing plan discussion. Who's going to do what at the same time as the app is being built? And the punchline was Matt, my business partner, he's the internal CEO. I am the external CEO, the guy that's going to be the public face and make it popular.
Yep.
And what it came down to was we just have to lean into our strengths so we can do both at the same time. In other words, we have 10 months of runway ahead of us before we're really launched.
Yeah.
We don't want to waste that time not hyping up the app and gathering lots of eyeballs. But it also is going to be very time intensive building this thing out with details every day.
Right.
So we're dividing and conquer. I said, Matt, I'm horrible at details. I hate them. I'll freeze. He's like, that's what I'm good at. Let me do this piece. And he said vice versa. I don't like being the public face necessarily. I said, I can spend this 10 months making this thing popular. And I started listing all these ideas. He's like, good. So I'm going to free you up to do that. So I use that example in my discussion with Jason Pfeiffer, the editor-in-chief of Entrepreneur Magazine, to say, if you guys are afraid that you're not going to be successful, if you're afraid that you don't have what it takes, please know this. You don't have to have the whole package. You have to be really damn good at a couple of things. The things that you might even discount because they're already in your comfort zone. You don't realize how important they are because they come naturally to you. You have to be really good at those things, understand what they are, lean into them, and mitigate the rest by having somebody else do the parts that you're not good at. So I thought it'd be kind of fun, to set that up. I wanted to tell you what traits I think have made you successful.
Oh, this is going to be fun.
I would love to hear what you think made me successful.
Oh yeah, I can already think of them.
And I wanted to do this so that people, almost like a memory jogger, so that you, the listener, can realize, one, you don't have to have it all, and two, as you hear some of these things, you might say, oh wait, I am good at that. Or wait, I do have this strength. So you can lean into it and move ahead full speed. No excuses.
I love this. You're going to start with me?
Actually, I want you to go first.
Oh, yeah, this is great.
What traits do you think have made me successful?
Okay, there's a few, but the first one that came up for me was your ability and practice. I don't want to say that this is something that you just have always been good at, because I've actually watched you get better at it and watched you work on it. It is your ability to compartmentalize your emotions and to work through a problem to find a solution without letting your emotions consume you. So like taking a moment, if something really bad happens or we get bad news, it's kind of like, yes, we have flare-ups, but I think you're really good with just like giving yourself that like separating the emotion to really look at the problem. Like you're very solution-based. You just want to get to the solution and you don't get stuck there.
Yeah.
You don't get emotionally stuck there. Another one is your crazy ability to delegate and call out where you're not good. You said it perfectly. And this is so me as well. And what I believe has made me successful, this is what we share in common, is if we know we suck at it, if we know we're like gonna freeze and we're never gonna get good at it, we won't even claim it.
Yep.
I'm like, guys, you're gonna be so disappointed in me if you want me to do this. And that's what you do so good, is that you're like, you call it out. It could be in front of 10 people you're trying to impress. And if it means that you're gonna get a job that you know is gonna make you freeze up, you'll admit that that is not a strength. You admit your weaknesses immediately and you proudly share what you're amazing at, to the point where you get people so hyped up that you can get people bought in because you believe in the things that you do well. And I believe that you can get people bought in so quickly because you also are so vulnerable with your weaknesses that people are like, well, if someone is so willing to share their weaknesses, I believe in this person for their strengths as well. So I think those are some of the main ones, is also your ability to, your choice to choose energy when you greet every single client, every single person. We can go from having a shitty day or a fight, and like you'll get on the phone with someone and choose to make sure that they know that they're the most important person that you're talking to that day. Or at least I know that that's what you're leaning into, and I see you do it as often as possible.
Oh, I love those. Thank you. And you're right. I recognize all of those things in myself and lean into those things to get the job done. And the one I want to touch on quick before I let you know what I think many of yours are, is the one where I unapologetically don't try and do what I'm not good at. Instead, I'm going to put it right out there and find somebody who's good at it. And when you do that, you guys, by the way, you're adding value to people's lives. You might think you're being a burden by saying, oh, I can't do this, I need someone else to. No, you're adding value to the people who are good at it. You're allowing them to shine. You're allowing them to use the tools they were given. That's harmonious. That's the way it's supposed to work. So stop trying to think you can do it all. Stop saying you can do it all. Stop trying to do things you're not good at. Fall on the sword on those things and go look for the people that can. And then be unapologetic, though, about saying, hey, these 3 things I'm good at, I'll be over here doing these ad nauseum. And I think that's a really good way to operate.
Hey y'all, I'm so excited to share with you that this podcast, Earn Your Happy, is now a part of the Growth Day Podcast Network. Truly, this is like one of the most exciting things that has ever happened to me. I'm telling you, I no longer feel like I'm doing this alone, and I actually get to collaborate with the people who host the podcast that I'm obsessed with, like that I have been listening to myself, who inspired me to start a podcast, who have taught me about how to go and do the thing, like the original people who got me motivated through listening to their podcasts. You guys, a bunch of us are coming together to bring more growth to the world and to support shows and brands that we believe in. And one of my friends are also on this network, and I'd love for you to go subscribe to their show. You guys, I just had Danielle Canty on of the Boss Babe podcast. She co-hosts it with her other amazing co-host and one of my friends, Natalie Ellis. You guys, you can go check out that podcast on mine. It's episode 925, and Danielle and I talk all about burnout and how that could be showing up in your life, and most importantly, how to prevent it. But I want to tell you, if you have not gone and checked out the Boss Babe podcast yet, go subscribe, because it is one of the largest online communities for ambitious women and female entrepreneurs. And I know that if you're listening to the show, chances are that's probably you. You guys, they have 3.6 million followers and 380,000 subscribers. The Boss Babe podcast is the place where they share real behind the scenes of building successful businesses, achieving peak performance, and learning how to balance it all. Most of all, you guys, truly, these women are in my life. Danielle and Natalie are people that I text on a weekly, monthly basis when I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel stuck. What should I do? I tune into their podcast, you guys, to learn. Even though they're my friends, I am still like crazy obsessed with this podcast because I learn something new every single time I listen. It makes me be a better podcaster. It makes me be a better businesswoman. It just makes me be better and more confident out in the world because they're so real and raw. And I can tell you that in the moments where I have had horrible days, down days, I've either gone and listened to this podcast or I've texted them because these are the people who truly get it. You want to listen to the people who are walking in the same footsteps that you are. You guys, go check out the Boss Babe podcast. You're not going to be sorry. And it's just going to like make you way smarter and you're going to have way more fun. So go check it out.
Okay, you have many of them. The first one is this. You're gritty and you are not afraid to take messy action. It's so interesting. You'll tell me a concept or an idea and I'll think it's in passing. And then all of a sudden, you've already done it or you're already working on it, whether it's working on it with Nikki, the podcast producer, whether it's working on it with Lauren, your chief of staff, whether it's working on it with your business partners, collaborators, with your business coming up. I don't want to add too much color around that yet, but you're already taking the messy action. You've never been one to wait till the plan is perfect. You've never been one to wait till the situation is perfect. And it's in all of that messy action. Sure, lots of wrong moves. Sure, lots of wrong decisions. Sure, lots of dead ends. Like, oop, can't go that way. Right? Picture being in a maze, like those corn mazes. Mm-hmm. Lots of dead ends. But you just keep moving and then you'll be the first one to finish the maze. And this is a real talent in business. You're the first one to finish the maze because you started while everyone else was preparing to start. And you just kept bumping up against dead ends, but you didn't stop moving. People freeze and they stop moving. So they wait too long to start. And when they bump up against a dead end, they freeze and they stop moving. And you do neither of those things. So that's why you always finish the maze. That's my metaphor. First. Here's another talent you have. You have done such a great job of assembling an incredible network of people that want to help you because you have always proactively added value to their lives, whether it's having them on your show, whether it's lifting them up and saying, hey, you don't know about this undiscovered star over here yet. You should have her on your show. You should have her at your event. You should have her on your stage. You have so consistently lifted other people up that two types of people have noticed it and want to now lift you up. The first type are the people you lifted up. Of course, they noticed it. They felt it. They're grateful for it. And of course, they want to help you. The second group of people that have noticed it are the people outside looking in, some of the superstars. And they say, wow, this Lori, she's always lifting other people up. Lori, she's always vouching for people. Wow, Lori, she's always putting people on a pedestal, on a platform so they can be heard. I love the way Lori operates. I want Lori in my life, even though you haven't done it for them yet, right? So it's incredible to watch how you have built this network of people that want to help you succeed, not just see you succeed, but want to help you succeed. There's a difference because you've always played the long game of helping other people first. And that is a hell of an asset to build up. That reciprocity, you've worked hard at building that up. I love that. The next thing that has really made you successful, you have an absolute talent, an absolute eye or an inner knowing of what consumers want and what they don't. And I don't know if this is something that's developed or I don't know if this is something that is already in you. I don't know where this comes from. But with a high degree of accuracy, you can look at something and immediately say, consumers don't want that. Or you can look at something and say, oh, this is what consumers want. And whether it's your business or somebody else's, then lean into that. Where does that knowing come from of knowing what consumers want?
I mean, if I'm being honest, I've always loved being a consumer. Thank you so much for this. This was so nice to hear. And I hope that people are getting value from it. I've always been a consumer. So I enjoy the action of actually browsing, looking, reading, researching. So like while other people are maybe online shopping, I'm literally being like an observer of, wow, this caught my eye. I don't just say, I love this. I say, why do I love this? To everything.
You analyze it.
To everything.
Oh, you're an analyzer.
I'm an analyzer.
So the thing that bugs me all the time when you analyze to death is the thing that makes you a great consumer.
Superpower. When I buy a product and I don't like it, I'm like, here's why I don't like it. Here's why this is better. Here's how this should be. Here's what they were missing. And I have conversations about it with my friends. Like I literally am just like, hey, do you like this product? I'm an ultimate consumer. Like put something in front of me and I'll tell you if I think like, I'll give my honest opinion. This is great. Here's why. Here's why people will love it. Here's why this sucks. Here's why this price point is worth every single penny for how much this is. Like, here's why you actually should charge more for this because people are going to want it more if it's more expensive because it already looks this way. And you're actually going to question if it looks really expensive, but it's not expensive. If these two things don't match up, then you're going to also have a miss. In another lifetime, I just feel like I would have crushed it in the marketing department somewhere that I loved.
Hey, you don't have to wait for another lifetime. Mm-hmm. Do it for your company and do it for others.
Exactly.
Okay, guys. So here's why this exercise was important. I want you to go do this with somebody who knows you well or a handful of people that know you well. I want you to put aside your bashfulness and go ask 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people. Hey, what are my talents? What do you see in me that I'm really good at? What do you see in me that are my natural abilities so that you know what to lean? Because sometimes you can't see it yourself. This will help you recognize what they are so you can lean into them. Do more of those and less of the things that you're not good at. Remember, you can always call in a favor. You can trade it out. You can hire it out. You can delegate it out. There's so many ways that you can get other people to do the parts that you're not good at, even if you're just starting out. So do that exercise for us. I would love for you guys to DM us and let us know what your superpowers are, what you're good at, what you're going to lean into. I always love hearing from you guys. And use these things to go be unapologetically successful. Because this conversation I had yesterday with Jason, the editor-in-chief of Entrepreneur Magazine, is so eye-opening. We said none of these people have the same traits. They just lean into their superpowers and get other people to rally where they're not. And you can do the same thing. By the way, guys, that's what a mastermind is locking arms for 1 year. It's lending out the parts that you're good at and having other people rally and save you for the parts you're not. That is priceless. And this is literally your very last call, your very last chance to apply for our 2023 Elite Mastermind. For all intents and purposes, it's full because we have more offers out than we have spots. But until those offers accept it and pay, one of you could slide into one of those spots.
Slide in the DMs.
We don't count them till they're paid. So go to chrisharder.me/mastermind, apply immediately, and I'll make time to jump on Zoom with you and sneak you in if you want. Again, go to chrisharder.me/mastermind, chrisharder.me/mastermind. Apply immediately. If your application looks good, we'll jump on Zoom and we'll see if you get one of those last couple of spots. All right, guys, thanks for listening. Always love and appreciate you.
Happy holidays. We'll see you next week.
Hey, thanks for listening to the podcast. And I want to make sure that you have my phone number, and I'm not kidding. Did you know that I have a community text number? For real. My phone number is 310-496-8363. This goes directly to my phone. All you have to do is text the word daily to 310-496-8363. And I literally text you every single day, Monday through Friday. I actually just got done 30 seconds ago texting a bunch of people back And I talk to you all of the time. You guys, people always ask me how I got my community text number and how it works. Well, all you have to do is you can just go to community.com and get your own. Community makes it easy to get a phone number that you can use to build your audience using text. People just text you at your number and they're added to your group. Then you can text them out audios, video links, anything you want. You guys, I text out happy birthday videos. I love to send podcast links, thoughts about life, book recommendations, different events that I'm doing in the local area. Texting gets me out of the noise of social media and directly into your hand. And now you can start texting your people too. Just go to community.com to get your phone number. They give you a 10-digit real phone number, not those weird short codes that look like spam, but it's more than a phone number. Your new number comes with an inbox for SMS and texting. This means you can actually manage your text list from your computer and an app on your phone. You can schedule text to send at certain times and to certain groups. You can even set up auto replies or let your assistant or customer service team answer your text messages via Community's awesome dashboard. Just go to community.com and ask for a free demo. They'll show you how it works and get you your number. It's time to start texting your audience versus just posting on social media. Everyone uses Community for that. So go check them out at community.com. I can tell you it's not just great for communicating with my audience, but Chris and I use Community and our texts to also sell out our launches. I'm telling you, you get such an incredible response because you really are creating a true deep sense of community and it's so intimate. It's freaking amazing. Go check it out at community.com. Hey, I know if you're listening to this podcast that you have big dreams and big goals. And one of the things that can really stop you is struggling with your marketing. Trust me, I have been there. Are you using 10 different systems just to build your online business? Then I want you to try Kajabi. Kajabi helps you build your web pages, set up funnels, and sell your courses, content, coaching, or communities. You've been hearing me talk a lot about funnels on this podcast and the importance of your email list. You can get a free trial at kajabi.com. That's Kajabi.com. I've talked about Kajabi before, but here's something that's super cool and new. They just rolled out an AI assistant for creating your online course curriculum. And this means you just type in a topic that you want to create on a course or webinar and bam, it just generates a sample outline for you. It takes a ton of the hard work away. Of course, you're going to customize it to be your own, but this really helps you get over the struggle of how in the world to start, which is where most people stop. If you're like me, starting is always the hardest part, and that's what makes Kajabi so popular. They've made it easier for creators to build web pages, build courses, build coaching programs, build membership sites, build checkout pages, and build email funnels. So if you're struggling with any of those, you got to go check it out. Go to Kajabi.com. Kajabi was really the first all-in-one system and is trusted by over 100,000 creators. I think that's good enough for me. Also as influencers and marketers who use this. And now their smart AI platform makes it easy to take what you know and turn it into an online course and business. Go start building with a free trial at kajabi.com. That's Kajabi.com.